What is going on, everybody? Welcome to the Gamers for Life podcast, where each and every Saturday we're discussing all things games. I'm one of your hosts, Jerrell. With me is my co-host, my right-hand man, my ABXY, Arthur. What's going on, man?
Nothing much. Just watching my cats, as always, make sure they don't chew on stuff. So you know that one.
Yeah. Hey, that one. It's funny. There's two cats here in the studio here. And one of them I call Batman because there's always like hidden and stuff like in the room.
They're definitely polar opposites. One's like, what's this? What's that? What's that? They're the ones like, what's that? What's that?
So looks like I call her Batman. Looks like Batman's actually leaving her post and walking around. So pretty interesting stuff there. But of course, as everyone watching, welcome, hello, welcome to our YouTube channel. Be sure to like, subscribe on the YouTube channel here for Gamers for Life. A lot of really dope videos, episodes, clips as well, if you just want to get the goods there. And then, of course, since this is a podcast here, you can check us out on your favorite streaming application. You can go to Spotify, Apple Podcast, just any of your major ones that you prefer to listen to or to utilize, I should say. And then, of course, my man Arthur, he manages the Twitch stream for the Gamers for Life podcast. So you can go to twitch.tv /Gamers for Life pod. So
last night we were playing Sea of Thieves. We're doing the 4th of 5 Tall Tales for the new Jack Sparrow update on Sea of Thieves. Yeah, it was fun.
Nice.
It was fun. There was an update. The servers were down yesterday. I think they definitely listened to the players, because remember how I told you there was that one Tall Tale where we just ran out of resources and we had to kill it. We had to fight a kraken with only pistols, which took forever. And it made the fight go like stupidly long. So last night during one of the while we were playing the Tall Tale, like I said, the fourth of 5. We opened the cannonball barrel. Oh, there's like 500. There's like 500 cannonballs.
So there's more than enough. You're like, we can beat this, no problem.
It was my... Oh, something fell outside. They're doing construction or something.
Oh, it's fine. That's what it is.
Yeah, so happens when you live in the city. No, it was myself, Prime, and Ivan of the Nerdy Bunch last night playing it, and Prime was with me when we played that one Tall Tale where there was no cannonballs or no resources. Yeah, and I was like, oh my god, it was like finding the Holy Grail.
What do I do?
Look at all these things for us to use.
Because you told me about that, and I was concerned. I was like, oh shit,
it took forever. And the thing is, like, there is incentive to do Tall Tales more than once because you get more rewards and stuff like that. And we were just like, until they fix it, I'm never doing a Tall Tale again. I'm never doing that mission again. It just took forever.
Yeah. It sounds like it, man. It sounds like it.
It's like picture a boss, literally picture a boss fight, but before the boss fight, they don't stock you up. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, it's like, when gamers know when they're walking and all of a sudden there's like 1 million med kits and 1 million ammo and all this stuff, you're like, there's a fight around the corner. But again, so picture a boss fight like that, but there's no supplies.
That's crazy, man.
But again, looks like they fixed it, at least for this next one.
That's good. Crazy stuff indeed. So here on the Gamers for Life podcast, we read the news while you can watch what you choose or listen to what you choose by clicking on the links within the time code, then the description of the episodes. You can be updated on when the episode if you want to be updated on a specific topic within the episode, you can click on those hyperlinks there. You can also do that on the podcast as well, the audio version of it, specifically for Spotify. I can't speak on the other ones, but the time codes will be there. I don't know if you can click on them for all the other ones, but you can do that definitely for the Spotify, on Spotify if you have that, so you can click on the links. And to start off, Arthur, I'm going to try to shimmy around here. I'm going to start here. You know what? Fuck it. I'm just going to start on the one that we've been talking about all week because it's made our faces super happy.
I'm just smiling thinking about it. It's so good. It's such a good ad campaign.
Dude, it's amazing. So if you are not hip to what happened earlier this week, Obviously, you're hearing this or watching this on a Saturday. Xbox went 90s on us. 90s R&B, which is
full boys to men.
Yeah,
they just went all in.
Full boys to men style, definitely. And if anyone is a 90s kid, we all know how important 90s R&B was to our lives. And to be more specific here, the band, the R&B group All For One, actually was a part of an Xbox ad promoting Game Pass. And I'm going to read this article here on Nerdist.com. It says here in quote, if you were around back in the 90s, then you remember the R&B group All For One, mostly thanks to their massive hit, I Swear. They had a couple of other hits too, but it was I Swear that couldn't get away from even if you tried it. In the back in 1994. It was everywhere and even won a Grammy for it. Now with most things from the 90s, it's making a return from the pop culture zeitgeist, this time in the unexpected form of an Xbox ad. And this is here, All For One has come back together to do a special version of I Swear with lyrics changed of It's All There. Yeah. It is a full 2-minute ad in parodies of the candle lit and soft focused music videos that dominated the 90s MTV and BT. Now the lyrics go on with the amazing deal that you can't pass up. One where you can pay Microsoft $25 a month for an Xbox Series S and an Xbox Game Pass Ultimate subscription. And then continuing here, it says that it appears as though the All For One reunion isn't the only retro revival that they are planning. Bylan also said to look out for more nostalgic Xbox All Access 90s themed content in the coming days.
There's going to be more?
It seems like it. Maybe All For One will just warm up the act for Boys to Men, for a Boys to Men commercial. There's got to be a video game angle on in quote on bended knee, right? End quote. So this has brought a joy to my face. I was like, they're getting like creative with this shit,
dude. I woke up, and that was one of the first things I saw when I woke up. And I immediately messaged you. And I noticed like, oh, you posted about it like an hour before, whatever. But I must have listened to that thing like 10 times. It's so catchy. It's so catchy. It's
oh yeah.
I wish we could play it, but I don't think we can for copyright DMCA.
Yeah,
lovely stuff.
Exactly.
But please look this. Please find this ad. It's like a minute. It's like a minute long. It's super short.
Yeah.
It's just so good.
You were cracking me up too. You're like, I'm gonna try to be the next member of the group.
I know. Because if you look at the thumbnail, like the thumbnail for the episode, or at least their cover, like our go-to logo, it's like me pulling off my shirt. It's like me just like pulling off my shirt. I'm like, it looks like I'm auditioning to be the fifth member.
Yeah, it's like you're saying, it's like Game Pass is awesome.
Yeah, I know. Like I'm just in the background. I'm in the background just singing the chorus.
Dude, yeah. This is open. I feel like this opened like a beautiful Pandora's box of so many marketing ideas that they can have. And I like that the fact that this is brilliant in many ways, right? So the first thing is that that it opens the door for many other awesome R&B groups to have version of Xbox, if they have them on there. Yeah. Boys to Men, New Kids on the Block, like just like the list goes on, right? And then also it to me it definitely shows as far as like the people that they're mainly marketing to here is obviously 90s kids, which is probably a huge demographic for their Xbox subscribers, right?
Yeah, like we grew up and we have we're adults now, and I'm happy spending my money with you guys.
Right. So it's just very like on point in many ways. And then to continue the trolling, the masterful trolling of Microsoft. You sent this over to me as far as an ad talking about, if you're not hip to Game Pass, you're going to be taught today, so have a seat. But as far as this Game Pass, there's just an incredible value for Game Pass when it comes to all these games available to download or stream for a fraction of the price of a video game. Maybe a fourth of the cost of it.
A fourth.
Yeah, a fourth cost.
It's the monthly cost of a fourth of one AAA game.
Yeah, exactly. And then especially even bigger value with the xCloud finally launched on the browser, so you can do the xCloud on like your iPhone even or Apple product, laptop or whatever, and then save some storage space. Just do the streaming via xCloud if you have a really good internet connection. And one of the biggest features is that there's a various amount of controllers that you can utilize for the Xbox Game Pass. So not only you can use an Xbox controller
I love it.
You can also use a PlayStation 4 controller if you'd like. And to confirm this, Xbox actually, they're on the Instagram like everybody else, but they actually have an Instagram ad that is literally promoting Game Pass. It looks like he's playing on a tablet or something, but it shows a PlayStation 4 controller in this person's hand on the Instagram here. And it looks like it's wireless too. So it's a Bluetooth connected to the tablet. Yep. But what they say here on the Instagram, it says here in quote, if you're wondering how they're playing Xbox games with a PlayStation controller and a tablet, the answer is cloud gaming with Xbox Game Pass Ultimate. I was freaking out because they actually added PlayStation.
They fucking tagged PlayStation in their own ad. What a fucking baller move.
They added PlayStation. I thought that was the most baller shit. I was like, holy fuck, this is
like in their actual ad is someone playing Sea of Thieves on a tablet with a PlayStation 4 controller. I just can't get over it. And this was a day after the R&B fucking ad dropped.
Yeah.
So I was like, dude, they're on a fucking roll.
And it's the day before their state of play.
Yeah.
So I'm just like trolling.
So there's been a lot of updates to Game Pass this past month, especially after E3. So here's the thing. So two things arguably got updated hugely. xCloud, which is the true future of mobile gaming. And by the way, xCloud is like finally deterring the thing of like, oh, you can't play games with Apple shit. You can with xCloud. Because they say you can play with your iPhone.
Yeah.
And up until now, iPhone's only been like mobile games like Fortnite and shit.
Yeah.
And so with the xCloud, you can play full on Microsoft games on your iPhone.
Exactly.
That's crazy.
That is crazy.
The other update that came to Game Pass that came to Game Pass Ultimate is the streaming of Series X games via your web browser.
Yeah.
And those are both insane. Those are both crazy good news for mobile gamers, because here's the thing. Remember, these aren't mobile versions of these games. These are full-fledged games on your mobile device. I remember during the beta of this, you lost your mind because that's when you discovered the crazy thing of Game Pass when you were playing when you played you played Doom on your phone.
Yeah.
With a PS4 controller.
Yes.
And that was during the beta, but now it's fully fledged. So pretty much in like the same few weeks, I think it's crazy that technically speaking, this is absolutely true. Technically speaking, Xbox Series X games are more compatible with PS4 controllers than PS5.
That is a stunt, dude. Total stunt. Yeah.
And that's so this isn't huge news for only Sony customers. Like, hey, okay, like let's say you're a Sony customer, right? And you don't want to you don't want to fledge out $500 for a new console, or you can't because the supply is still screwed.
Right.
You can, for $15 a month, get Game Pass Ultimate. Remember, there's still two tiers. Game Pass Ultimate has these updates. Yeah. xCloud and the streaming thing, that's with Game Pass Ultimate. The $50 version instead of the $10 version, but for $5 more, well worth it. So if you're a Sony customer and there's all these Series X games that you want to play, but you can't fledge out the $500, but let's say you have a decent PC or gaming rig or something, Game Pass Ultimate, you can play these Series X, like new next gen games, on your PC and here's the thing. Unlike the PS5, you don't have to upgrade your controller. Because remember, if you have a PS4 and you get a PS5, you have to update your headsets minus the few models we looked at. But there's like only four. There's like 4 models of headsets. Yeah, they're of the PS4 headsets are compatible with PS5. So if you go from PS4 to PS5, and let's say you want a new controller, you have to buy a whole new controller. You have to buy a whole new headset and arguably almost any accessories for it as well. Yeah. Now with Xbox One, the Series X, you don't have to do that. Right. You don't have to do that. But again, so with this, I just love how they integrated the PS4 controller more than Sony. They again, Microsoft has integrated the PS4 controller into more games than Sony has. Yeah. With this update.
Yeah. Yeah.
What the fuck?
When you think about like what they've done and how it's like just like made Sony really look bad, you know. And again, I'm a Sony guy. I'm not being, you know, we're not Sony haters. We're just calling a spade a spade. Like this looks bad. And this is awesome for everyone, you know.
And so back to this image, back to this book, back to this social media ad. It's hilarious because Xbox is in the comments and they're funny. They're like somebody replied, "Why?" And Xbox, such a drop the mic. I love it. This would be a me comment. Just replied, "Why not?"
Seriously, seriously, because we can.
Yeah, that's such a good fucking answer. Like because we can. And again, this we mentioned this last episode. And you made a prediction that's going to be closer and closer come to fruition.
Yeah,
is we're probably maybe one generation out, if that, from Xbox just not abandoning their hardware, but not producing any more like gaming consoles.
Yeah,
and just tunnel visioning this xCloud Game Pass Ultimate service. Because again, this update of having the ability to stream Series X, remember, like next gen games, via web browser is huge.
It's nuts.
Like that's like a big again for PC people that are still like, I don't play console on PC. You're Team Microsoft. Like you may not think of it, but you are Team Microsoft.
Yeah.
And anyway, we discussed it with Windows 11. Windows 11 is a free update that's coming, and that's gonna have Game Pass built into it.
Yeah.
So with the Windows 11 update we had, with this xCloud thing, and now with the Series X streaming service. Again, that is really good news for everybody, console players, Sony, and PC people.
Dude, it's nuts. You know, it's funny. I was thinking about this. I was thinking about like we had an episode earlier that talked about the console war.
Yeah.
That talked about the console war, and as far as like, the console war is over, and I was thinking like, because Microsoft won. Yeah.
It's so good. I mean, like. Because arguably, especially in the early stages, all the numbers show that PS4 won the Xbox One in the early stages, and then fucking Game Pass just came along. Now, we mentioned this. Game Pass day one was just a Gears of War Halo machine,
right? And
then it became this huge venue for indie games, and now we're getting like huge, massive AAA games.
Yeah.
It took a year for the Game Pass to really hit its stride.
Right.
And so, and then speaking of Microsoft and stuff like that, there's one more thing we want to mention. I saw the news from IGN. There was a Kickstarter to have, I forget what they call it, but a kind of a quote unquote attachable TV screen that attaches and plays from your Xbox console.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
It was its Kickstarter goal was like 9,400, like 9,400. Hit the goal in 20 minutes. Jeez. And here's the thing. I think here's the biggest thing from this story. Microsoft has not shut it down.
And they haven't said anything, right, about it?
Nope.
That's great.
Now if they do, then my opinion and of course the story will change. But as of right now, this broke yesterday. So yesterday morning, that was when the news broke that this the place, I forget what it's called. I forget what it's called, but the Xbox, like the X Station. I think they're calling it like the X Station.
Oh, really?
So it's like kind of back in the day. Remember like the Game Boy or GameCube, the little TV that attaches to it. Right. But now you can do that for the new Xbox. And so what I'm saying is, I think the biggest story about that, other than the fact that it's goal in 20 minutes, the biggest story is that it exists.
Absolutely.
And I know that doesn't make sense upon hearing it on just face value. What I mean by that is Xbox has not sued them to shut it down.
Right, yeah.
Versus Sony, that's like, oh, you want a black PS5? I'll either shut down or I'll see you in court. You know what I mean? It's like Sony, like Nintendo. Nintendo's notorious for it. But Sony, like Nintendo, are just sending out all these cease and desists and fucking, fucking lawsuits, either lawsuits or threatening of lawsuit, while Kickstarter, someone at Kickstarter puts forward this attachable TV screen to your Xbox. And again, as of right now, as far as I'm concerned, Xbox is like, yeah, sure, it's awesome.
Yeah, dude, it's yeah, absolutely, man. I agree definitely. And then also too, to keep in mind, I know that there was a state of play, PlayStation State of Play that happened Thursday. If you're watching this, obviously Saturday. So we're gonna cover that next week. We recorded a little earlier today.
Yeah, just timing.
Yeah, just timing. So you know, and then also we've talked about Deathloop before, but we will, obviously it is news, so we'll talk about it next week. But yeah, man, it's just I really hope that they are thinking about everything that Microsoft has dropped, and especially with that. Earlier this week, there was another interesting response of how Microsoft responded to everything that Xbox has been doing, and they said something pretty. I mean, I think it's stupid, but kind of ridiculous in my opinion. I don't know if I put it on the Gamers for Life Instagram, which you should definitely check out. Definitely follow us on the Gamers for Life Instagram. But they mentioned something in a matter of words as far as not being. This isn't an arms race, is what they said. Do you remember that? They said, "Oh, like, well, this isn't an arms race," and because someone was asking as far as, how they feel they're going to compete with Microsoft of all this stuff, and they just said, and then I don't know who said it on their team.
Sony said it.
Sony replied, "This isn't an arms race," which. Yeah. It's like, okay, well, what are you doing to combat that in general? Because you could ideally just lose PlayStation customers. Like it doesn't make sense. And then they recently updated their PlayStation Now, where I think Red Dead Redemption 2 is going to be on there. A bunch of games that came out mad long ago, but besides the point. But they're just slowly starting to update PlayStation Now. So I think they're just really trying to figure out how to do it, and if they even can do it, from just a monetary perspective, So it's just like, if it's not an arms race, man, at least like do something to cater to PlayStation in some way without being a pain in the ass.
I was like, okay, fine. Like at best, if it's not an arms race, at least have it as a service that your customers are happy, because from the outside looking in, I wouldn't be.
Yeah.
Again, we discussed the rumors of Kojima making, a potential Microsoft exclusive thing and all this stuff. And it's like, dude, and Xbox is fucking adding you. Xbox is fucking adding you in their own ad of like, hey, your controllers. Yeah. Dude. Your customers can use them to play our games.
This is like absolute shout out. Like, it
would have been. Yeah. I think it'd have been like a little extra fucking extra like kicking somebody while they're down if they were playing MLB The Show.
Oh my god! Yes, bring it on.
If they're
on, man.
They're like, oh yeah, hey, remember that Sony exclusive? Yeah, it's on Game Pass now. So your previous exclusive, your customers have to pay $70. Ours have to pay $15 to access this and one of hundreds of games.
I think they should just keep hitting them. Just keep hitting them with these jousts. As far as like, you guys need to fix your marketing plan, because whatever you're doing isn't working. Just keep doing it, because this is healthy. Right? Yeah. They're not doing anything crazy or illegal. They're just merely saying like, hey, look at this thing that we're offering everybody, including your customers, can come over here. Like, you got me. Hell, you guys should subscribe to Game Pass. So I think this should really, to me, if anything, this should light a fire under Sony's ass, so they can really think about how they're going to give better value. It doesn't mean to give the exact same value, because this is Microsoft. This is like one of the top, income driving companies in the world. But so they have the cachet obviously to do this. But give us something other than the old school 90s format of sales, right? Like, people aren't going to buy $60, $70 games anymore, really. I mean, not nearly as much as they used to, and Microsoft knew that, and now, even because they're doubling down on this, when Microsoft said, hey, we haven't even thought about a design for a new console at the moment. Like, we are focusing on Game Pass.
Yeah, they're like again, after with the xCloud combination with the new browser play, it's like, we're not thinking about a new console. This is our service is where it's at, and Sony's like, fuck, I think we need a new console. And the thing is, not to focus on it too long, but I'm just still laughing over it. Whoever runs Xbox's social media is fucking on it. Because have you seen some of their posts? Like, their posts are just really cool and like uplifting as a gamer. They're like, don't compare yourself to other gamers. Just look at yourself just look at yourself as a better version of you yesterday or something like that.
Oh,
you know
yeah.
what I mean? Like don't, you know, I think plus to a point, I think that's worth saying too, because I think now more than ever, arguably even more than when we grew up, competitive gaming, if not competitive gaming, like skill-based gaming is way more important or way more of a thing than just enjoying yourself and playing the game to have fun.
That's a great point.
You know, so again, Microsoft social media, they put all these cool things. And that was my favorite recently. Again, of like, don't compare yourself to, other gamers, other play styles. Just try to improve. Just try to do what you can. I forget the exact quote, but it was like, do what you can to just make today a better version of yourself yesterday. Yeah. And I was like, this is from a gaming company?
Yeah, that like touched our hearts. Yeah. Like, what? That was really insightful.
I'm like, is this an ad for like, some wellness thing or something? Like some workout thing? Like, don't judge yourself to others. Just make yourself a better version in yesterday. Brought to you by Microsoft. What?
Game Pass, bitches.
Yeah, man. Just again, this week, Xbox has just been killing it. That was like, and up until now, I've been joking about like Phil Spencer and stuff like that, and the marketing team of Xbox, and just balling out, walking out like with like a WWE style entrance of like, this is us, motherfuckers. This is why. This is why of like not only going to have, I'm sure they had to get permission, but not only they're going to have a PlayStation controller in their ad, we're not fucking at you. Yeah. Like, oh yeah, by the way, our next gen games are more compatible with your controller than your fucking next gen games. That's fucking crazy.
That is crazy. So the last thing before we go to the next topic here, speaking of Xbox, you got your Series X.
Yeah, that's why I kind of had like a pause earlier to my Sea of Thieves story, because I was playing on. We'll get to that. So it was really funny because I told you all like, hey, I need headphones, and we mentioned it before. Like, Best Buy is our store. Like, we will window shop there.
Yeah. All
the time. It's like, hey, let's get some food. Hey, we're within a mile of a Best Buy. Let's just go.
Just check it out. See what's up. Yeah.
So we window shop. We do stuff like that. We see what's on sale, and then like there's one time we discovered there's a new metric to measure TVs, and it was like MS. Remember? And we're like two old guys like, MS. What the hell is that? Because remember we were looking for a monitor with good hertz.
Yeah, that's right.
And we noticed none of the boxes were advertising hertz, and we're like. But they were all advertising MS. Yeah. And we're like, did we like miss a fucking memo or something? We're just two old guys in the future. Like, where's Hertz? What's MS? We didn't ask. We're trying to figure it out. Yeah. And neither of our guesses were right, because turned out MS was like milliseconds. Yeah. And they're like
the timing of like the mouse and stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. And apparently that was like the new equivalent to like of measurement of a quality of a TV that replaced Hertz. We're like, oh, okay.
Yeah, I'm like, damn, I'm showing my gray hairs there.
I know, right? But yeah, we go to Best Buy just because I needed some new headphones. I needed some new Bluetooth headphones and a Bluetooth speaker. Again, it does not take much for us to go to Best Buy.
Yeah, seriously.
And even though I set up the time and stuff, I slept through my alarm, and I woke up with you outside like, oh, what? Oh, yeah. So I was literally conscious for like 60 seconds before I get in this car. And we pull to Best Buy. I'm still tired of shit. And you notice that someone's walking out with a PS5.
Right.
And I was like, oh. And so we walk in and we ask the employee that helped that guy. It's like, hey, do you guys have any more next-gen consoles? What immediately got me happy about that conversation, because do you remember his response?
No, what did he say?
I was like, hey, do you need next-gen consoles? And his response was, which one? Oh. And I'm like, it's not a no. And yes, I ended up lucking out with the last Series X of that store.
Dude.
And I have been enjoying it.
God damn it. Yes. You've been playing this for a while, and
so I finally got myself a next gen console.
Dude, congrats, man.
And I immediately went to the store. I went to the Microsoft store in the section on games optimized for Series X. So right now I've been playing State of Decay 2, Knockout City, and there was one, Sea of Thieves. Yeah. Those are I got it a few days ago, so I haven't played a million games. But immediately with Sea of Thieves and State of Decay, the biggest noticeable difference was like frame rate, just how smooth it looks. Yeah. and the load times
super fast, right?
Super fucking fast.
Fucking awesome.
Because Sea of Thieves is notorious for long fucking load times.
Really,
especially with Xbox One. I know when you play with us, you play in PC. I don't know there, but on Xbox One, it has like decently long fucking load times.
Wow,
dude, with the Series X, I'm like, poof, I'm in the game. I'm like, oh shit. And
that's dope, man. Awesome.
Same thing with State of Decay. Again, not notorious for load screens, but they exist. In the game, it just looks smooth. Their frame rate everything just runs better. Just looks better because of the frame rate. And then of course, again, the load. Same thing with the load times. Just so fun.
Yeah, definitely.
I can't wait. The game I can't wait to really stretch its muscles and just let it run. Is Battlefield 2042. I can't wait for the game.
Oh my god!
Because remember, the Battlefield had large lobbies of a total of 64 people, 32 versus 32. Do you remember the update that said they're going to have for PC and next gen consoles? Double that.
Oh yeah,
meaning it's gonna be
128 or some shit.
Yeah, 128. It's gonna be 64 versus 64. That's gonna be fucking nuts, and I cannot wait.
Yeah, that's gonna be insane, dude. Yeah, because Microsoft said that it was going to be. They said something about EA and Xbox having it where like Battlefield, like Xbox is the place to play for Battlefield or something like that.
Yeah.
Or maybe we can see like a Xbox Series X bundle or something.
Maybe because remember EA Play is now EA Play is now part of Game Pass Ultimate. So for you sports fans out there, Game Pass. But
do you think you know what, I didn't think about this, but do you think Battlefield 2042 will be on EA Access? Because they haven't announced that.
No.
Okay.
No. It will be. No. Yeah. Here's the thing though. What EA Play does is, even if it's not like a part of hard a part of Game Pass, or it's quote unquote free at face value, it's usually at least discounted. Like EA, that was like the big seller for EA Play at first. EA Play at first was not a library like Game Pass. EA Play was kind of like almost like Uber Eats Pass, like $10 a month, you get discounts off these games.
Dude, awesome.
So that's what it was, and I've seen that too. Like there are EA games that are not part of EA Play, thus not a part of Game Pass. Sorry, not a part of Game Pass, but at least have the discount.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, this game's 65, 57, or whatever, some monetary value.
Yeah.
But now I still I will agree with this, even though I've been very happy, even though I was very, very happy with their gameplay trailer. EA has burned this before multiple times, and I myself and a lot of people are not pre-ordering it just yet because again, it's like burn me once, shame on you. Burn me 4 times, you're EA. So again, myself, a lot of people aren't pre-ordering it just yet. But yeah, man, I can't wait for, again, because that's the thing. I'm looking for like a good shooter or like a good pretty game. Like City of Decay, arguably it leans towards the indie side. Undead Labs isn't like a company like Ubisoft.
Right.
So I'm just trying to find the game right now to really let the girl run.
Dude, I'm excited for you, man, because I'm excited for you because just in general, like there's obviously a huge scarcity when it comes to the consoles. Yeah, they're not focusing on a new console right now, so everyone's just kind of like, God damn, like when can I get my hands on a console? So it's just the fact that you got one, you're like, cool, like I'm future proof right now.
Ours was just pure luck. Yeah, again, the fact we got it was pure luck. I was like, hey, let's go to Best Buy for some headphones. I sleep through my alarm.
Definitely. So moving away from Xbox here, there's another story here that kind of just was on the sad side here of things in the world of gaming, and unfortunately and coincidentally it was on the Microsoft or the Sony side, the PlayStation side.
No, Sony has bad news. No.
So it's just more confusion and lack of understanding here, but This is according to NME.com, so I'll read this. In the title of the article, it says, Sony has quietly removed Japan Studio from its official lineup. So continuing on here, it says, in quote, Sony has quietly removed Japan Studios from its official list of first-party developers, unofficially confirming the studio's shift in focus. Push Square initially reported the Japan Studios' quiet removal, which happened sometime last month. Japan Studios was one of Sony's longest standing first-party developers. Founded in 1994, the developer worked on iconic Sony titles such as Parappa the Rapper, Everybody's Golf, Ape Escape, and Shadow of the Colossus. Japan Studios' last official video game release was Demon's Souls PS5 Remaster, which launched last year. Blue Point Games developed the title, but Japan Studio assisted with the development. The Tokyo-based developer was also involved with the development of the Astro's Playroom, which launched pre-installed on each PS5 console. Team Asobi and Eternal Japan Studio developed the game. Sony announced that Team Asobi will join PlayStation Worldwide Studios last month and has since replaced Japan Studio on the list of first-party developers. Lastly here, I'll say the writing was on the wall for a number of years as Sony slowly shifted its resources towards big-budget titles. In December 2020, the studio lost the creators behind Silent Hill and Gravity Falls, who left to form Bokeh Studios. End quote. I'm going to end there because that just kind of wrapped up the reasoning. Not really kind of the reasoning or half-ass reasoning, if you will. But what were you pointing on?
Can you go back to that page?
Yeah. To me, it's just really sad because Japan Studio has been a part of the Sony family for a very long time and have made games that people have really catered to and loved.
Yeah.
You know, obviously they're not the only people that have, been a part of the development, but it's pretty awesome stuff, or it's pretty awesome as far as those developers are, they
talented people,
very talented people. So it's very unfortunate that they're removed. And I don't know, the fact that, and obviously this is an article, so they're saying as far as the fact that Sony has been focusing towards big budgeted titles, this is definitely a sign of that. And I don't know how they're really going to be supporting indie developers at this point, but it's just sad in general that they remove these guys because Parappa the Rapper, like that was a part of Sony's DNA.
It's a legacy game right there.
That's a legacy game, exactly. Like Ape Escape, Everybody's Golf, Shadow of Colossus. Was it really worth it to focus on these quote unquote big budgeted titles?
And this just reaffirms the story that we talked about last week of that one indie developer that whistleblowed Sony of just what it's like to be an indie developer partner with Sony, and how little they help you and focus you and work with you. Like there was that line that struck big to me is like, how can I burn a bridge if I'm not allowed to cross it?
It's like, yeah, exactly.
On a side note, who was article by?
NME.com. Thomas, what's the gentleman's name? This is
okay, enemy. Okay, sign note.
Wrong thing.
Sign up. The reason.
Oh, here we go.
Just quick thing. The reason why I asked
Thomas Hughes.
Okay, not to Thomas, but to NME. If you scroll down a little bit, there's a little because when you're on any website, it says click here to read another. Click here to read another article. Their click here to read another article is like, or actually it's right there. Scroll a little bit down, right there. 20 years later, Silent Hill 2 is still a disorientating masterpiece. So I just really random. I'm like, oh, okay. So just really on a side note, just really funny how they mentioned it in another article praising Silent Hill 2 at the same time. While this article is saying how a team that worked on Silent Hill is no longer with Sony.
Right. Yeah. God damn it.
It's like, hey, do you like Silent Hill? Oh, well, this developer's gone, but we wrote a different story on it.
Yeah, exactly, man. Yeah, this is bad news bears, so I don't, and then, according to, I heard there's an article, I don't know if it's official, but during the state of play, and of course we'll have to watch it and count it out next week, but I heard that there was going to be some type of, affirmation of a focus for indie titles, or focus on indie titles for PlayStation, but they're doing a really shitty job of marketing it up to state of play. I'll tell you that.
Dude, and that's the thing why marketing helps. Mm-hmm. Like the reason why I link so much indie games to Microsoft is one, not only because they do.
Yeah.
But again, there's always that portion of E3 or the conferences of at ID Xbox, at indie development Xbox.
Yeah.
And again, so not only on face value is Game Pass, I mentioned a million times, I will continue to do so, especially since companies like Sony still haven't realized it.
Yeah.
Any developers are a huge basis in this industry. And again, as big as indie developers are with Xbox, they're even bigger with PC. Again, I think that's like the birthplace for most indie games to really blow up. And so they're still here, how just more and more studios either A, aren't being focused on, or B, completely removed from Sony is just, what the fuck are they doing?
Yeah, needless to say, this is, to me, I just feel like bit by bit they're really losing the faith in a lot of their PlayStation customers. I mean, I don't want to harp on Sony too much, just because we're just the articles that we're reading is already doing that for them.
We don't try to. That's why I was like, oh, more news from Sony. Oh, it's bad news. Oh, shocker, surprise.
Yeah, I just hope to God they can get this together.
I just hope they actually have maybe even good clickbait articles. Like Sony made an announcement. You'll never guess what happened next. Oh, some studio got shut down. Oh, fuck.
But the annoying thing to me on this is, they just renewed all their board members, right? And then obviously sales are, regardless of these ridiculous moves, their numbers are up. So if their numbers are up,
and that's all they care about.
That's all they care about, unfortunately. But they're going to be losing a lot of these hardcore customers that are Sony for life. I'm a Sony person growing up, and PlayStation 2, favorite console of all time. Yep. But the fact they're making these moves based on what they deem to be value, more so a value, it's just really disappointing to see this stuff. And speaking of disappointment, there's another article here that talks about the Ghost of Tsushima. There's a director's cut edition they announced, but how they have implemented this director's cut and certain things they've added, definitely a sign of just more anger from the fans here. And this is from Gaming Bible. Shout out to you guys. And their article says here in quote, PlayStation fans hit out at Ghost of Tsushima PS5 paywall. So in here it says here in quote, last week was a big one for PlayStation fans. Ghost of Tsushima Director's Cut was announced on PlayStation 4 and PS5, bringing with it a bevy of enhancements for a new gen console. And a new story expansion that takes place on is it Iki Island?
What?
Iki Island?
No idea.
Okay. I tried. I apologize. This new version of the 2020 game releases August 20 and comes with a fairly complicated upgrade path that has left many gamers feeling a little angry. The PlayStation 5 version of the game offers a number of upgrades, including DualSense specific features like 3D audio, faster loading times, and also lip sync for English and Japanese voiceover, which is pretty neat. These are pretty essential features featuring that the PS5 version of the game. How unfortunately, this one PS4 to PS5 upgrade is going to cost you. If you already own Ghost of Tsushima on PS4, you're looking at $29.99 to upgrade to the Director's Cut on PS5. Given that the vast majority of PS5 upgrades have been given freely, there are some who think locking with many of the new PS5 features behind a paywall isn't the greatest move Sony could have made. Over Reddit, fans have widely agreed with the excellent Tech Radar piece that argues against having to pay for so much of what the Director's Cut is offering on PS5 if you already own the game on PS4. The new story expansion is one thing, obviously, but the fact that there's no option to skip the story expansion and simply get the PS5 enhancements for free, like with most of other games, is an issue. Continues, it says here, problem is people with PS5 are absolutely hungry for PS5 games with PS5 features like 4K, 60 frames per second, haptics, adaptive triggers, and 3D audio, end quote, responded one user. Continuing here, it says, end quote, there's just not enough games like this, so people will buy everything. Demand is too high on these companies, and these companies know it, and they will gladly take this opportunity to milk gamers for their money, end quote. And then also I want to mention this here. It says over on Twitter, others have pointed out the huge number of video games that have released on PS5 upgrades for free, including Bethesda, a Microsoft-owned company in the case of Doom Eternal. Jesus Christ. And then there's a couple of Twitter things here. Yeah. It says there's just a lot of. I'm just going to end it here. I'm just going to end quote. Actually, let me read this last part. So it says, it's unlikely Sony will do a U-turn on the decision here, but hopefully the company will hear this negative feedback and consider some kind of compromise at the very least allows players to enjoy the PS5 upgrades without having to pay for the story expansion and other director's cut content. End quote. So, man, oh man, this is really nuts. It doesn't make any sense. Like, I don't know why they thought customers would be okay with that. It's just not really excusable, especially because this is a game that the original Ghost of Tsushima came out many, many years ago, right? Plural. And, they finally came out with this director's cut. And the fact that other games have adopted the fact of upgrades are for free when you upgrade to PS5, especially Microsoft, they've been key on this. The thing they can get away with $30 upgrade is, to me, it's just shameful. Especially, I like the point you made on here where it says, especially if PlayStation, you have the PS5, there's some games, but people are hungry for more, and want more, especially because they're trying to deal with the ecosystem of PlayStation as is, right? So the fact that they're not going to be able to do that is pretty shitty. I mean, just to say very clearly. And then also, they have issues in general with these ports, because I remember the Doom Eternal. What was it? It was Doom Eternal. There's a game that was upgraded to PS5, but the game save was not. You couldn't save your game. Like the game did not transfer over to the PS5 version. I
know Mass Effect did that.
Was it Mass Effect did one of those?
I know why. I know that was we talked about. We talked about when the Mass Effect Legendary Edition got announced. Shortly after it was announced that for PS4 to PS5 customers, you can't transfer your data.
Yeah. Jeez Louise. Yeah, there's. I forget which one it was.
So you're gonna tell me GTA 5 is free on for PS5, but Ghost of Tsushima upgrade isn't?
Dude,
now that makes you mad now, right? Yeah.
It doesn't make none of this makes any sense, dude. Like, there's so much negative feedback on this stuff, and this is like legitimate feedback. You know what I mean? Like, it's completely legitimate feedback that everybody's giving. And aside from the arms race bullshit excuse that they want to make, these moves don't make any sense. I want to say it's Doom Eternal as well when it comes to the upgrade to the PS5 version. Your game save doesn't transfer over. And if anybody knows Doom Eternal, it's a fucking hard game. Like, it's not an easy game to play.
And just to let you know, again, since I'm now a next gen owner, so I mentioned Sea Thieves, Knockout City, and all these games I'm playing. Yeah, all I did was just install it because my save's on the cloud. This is like. There was even a prompt of like, would you like to use a save file? I was like, no, of course you do. Duh. So, like here, like for example, like again, like State of Decay 2 specifically. It's all about survival and stuff like that. So your save files are a big thing. And so to deal with that, all I did was install the game on my Series X, and then load it. That was it. That was it. So we mentioned all these like upgrades. Again, especially with Game Pass, there's all these games I don't have to rebuy. Like all I have to do is just download it. That's all I have to do.
Jesus, like fucking. Dude.
All I do is like install it. Sure, and because my internet's fast. I'm like 20 minutes later. I'm like, boop. That's it.
So the process of moving from the Xbox the One as to the Series X pretty seamless.
Seamless, yeah, and that's something I was worried about. Because not so much my tech skill, Jerrell knows, and we mentioned I have a horrible luck. I have horrible bad luck with just tech not working or something.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like whether a microphone breaks or this cable doesn't work or like transferring a game freezes for some fucking reason. I just have bad luck. I just have bad luck with shit. But thankfully, so far, going from my Xbox, going from my Xbox One to the new Xbox. Again, all I did was link my account, and now I can install all the games I own.
That's awesome.
That's it. Super fucking easy,
dude. Oh boy, yeah, but man.
Sony.
I want them to be better so bad. I just want them to be better. It doesn't mean they don't have to have a Game Pass equivalent, but just they need to really cater into these studios that make these games that make customers want to buy remasters of them, and don't charge them for that fucking shit. You know what I mean? Like not in this way. Like Nintendo is masters at this. Like it's when it comes to early adopters. Like I would argue that they are. I mean, obviously they're one of the grandfathers of the the gaming genre, but they are masters at early adopt with early adopters, releasing remakes of games of characters that people love. Yeah, and people don't bitch about it for the most part, except for this Nintendo Switch thing. We'll get into that a little bit, but yeah, like they are masters at doing that. So just with Sony, they're just trying to do this complete 180, focus on graphics. Focus on graphics, focus on just like, the higher end, big budget titles. It's like, why are you guys turning into Michael Bay of video games? Like, I don't understand.
and even then last year, cause they weren't, they weren't at E3 this year again. Who fucking knows why? Remember last year during the Sony conference when they spent a lot of time showing the upgrade improvement from the Final Fantasy VII remake, and everyone said is, oh, the lighting's better. Or that patch of floor looks, that square 10 feet of floor looks better. Dude. The PS5.
What the fuck? What is going on? And maybe we can get some type of some type of sanity here with one of our guests that we've had on the show. Yes. She has been really awesome enough to pop in here to say hi to us here on the Gamers for Life. And it's Haille _ G101 here. Gonna add it here to the show, so I'm gonna welcome her with some add the view here to speaker view. Hi Haille, can you hear us? Hey. So you are seeing our webcam here in the studio. Which is not our main camera for the show, but just so you can see us.
Talk to a still image.
So hello, it's been a long road.
Oh yeah, you guys have come a long way. It looks pretty nice. So I like it. It looks pretty good.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
Because this is my apartment. Yeah.
yes. Shout out to Arthur. We forcibly made his apartment a studio for the podcast.
Oh wow.
It was easy.
Hey, you got to do what you got to do. So
exactly. Like, hey, I have a living room with limited furniture and a bunch of nerd stuff on the wall. It looks good.
As long as we can avoid the cats, we're all good.
Yeah, so thankfully one's asleep in a box and the other one's just staring out the window.
So we covered a couple things here on the show today, but I did want to ask you this one of the biggest stories that happened this week, just to get your thoughts, because I know you're a big music person as well. We were covering at the start of the show here the All for One Xbox commercial with the R&B group All for One singing about the Game Pass deal. Was it $25 a month with the Xbox Series X or what have you? Were you able to watch that? Was that?
Yeah, I was. It was interesting. I wasn't expecting it at first. Like when I first saw it, I was like, I thought it was actually a throwback video. Like I didn't think it was like an up to date one until you guys like told me, and I was like, oh, okay, well. It was interesting. I was like, huh.
It's funny the generation gap, because for us, we were just like, oh my god, we were like, all for one.
I was losing my mind. I was losing it because again for us, I was like young. Yeah. Again, the generation gap, that was us. It was just fun, dude. That was like.
Yeah,
it was like that. I'm not saying prom music, but like definitely date music.
Yeah,
like 90s R&B was a golden era of quote unquote date music.
Just music, just great music for the 90s, man. Jeez Louise. Yeah, but I guess after watching it, does this? So one of the craziest things Arthur and I have been talking about, unfortunately, this has turned into an Xbox episode.
I'm okay with that.
Yeah, I suppose. So one of the big things too is that we're talking about the Instagram article or the Instagram post that they put showing someone playing a tablet with a PlayStation 4 controller. Right. So and this person is playing Game Pass. So to your point, as you mentioned in some of the prior episodes, as far as like like, yeah, like I want to upgrade, but just like, you know, when it comes to just like the cost of upgrading everything, like it is kind of costly for a lot of people, including myself. So seeing this, and I know you said, I think you said PS4 is like your favorite console of all time. The fact that you can, yeah. So the fact that you can use that same console or the same controller and do Game Pass and be able to play some of the latest and greatest titles. I mean, does this now like swoon you or have you more interested in Xbox Game Pass? What are your thoughts?
Well, even though I did say that, you know, the PS4 is like my, you know, biggest favorite console, I do have an Xbox, and yeah, that I probably will still lean towards, you know, PlayStation, because I haven't played Xbox in so long, and I would probably be a little bit behind with the pass.
Yeah.
I will say if it's more, you know, fair with prices than PlayStation, then absolutely. But yeah, I would probably still be leaning towards the PlayStation side.
Okay. Well, you are a very loyal customer, more than most. So
more than Jerrell, but that's, for me, that's okay.
Yeah, and my favorite console is PS2, and I'm like, I just can't do this anymore. I'm like a distressed spouse of like the PlayStation family. But while we have you here, I did want to skip to the Apex news here. I'm sure you've probably heard about it. But according to SVG, it says here, the title of the article, the bizarre reason this Titanfall group hacked Apex Legends. So just to quickly read this off here, it says that while Titanfall and Apex Legends are loosely connected with each other through an in-game universe, the two titles share a common problem in the real world: cheaters. It's no secret that Apex Legends has been bogged down by dishonest players for far too long, and though it's time it's become such an issue in Titanfall that fans can no longer enjoy the game. As a result, a hacker or group of hackers recently took it upon themselves to fight fire with fire. Twitter account Apex Legends News tweeted that someone hacked into Apex Legends to share a message that Titanfall is under attack. Some gamers are eagerly logged in to play the popular Battle Royale, only to see a message that reads, TF1 is being hacked, so is Apex. The account also reported players affected by the hack are unable to queue for other game mode, forcing them to simply take in message while they wait for a fix. Even when the round is over, players are shown another message and encouraged to, quote, visit the repost to SaveTitanfall.com. In an effort to rally enough support, the Save Titanfall site is packed with relevant articles, a Discord server, and a link to spread the word through Twitter, Facebook, and email. The core message from this group is the belief that Respawn is wrongfully profiting off of the game that is completely unplayable, end quote. So, curious to get your thoughts on this, Haille, because you are a huge Apex fan. You talk about Lifeline. Yeah. Lifeline is your girl, you know, she's your favorite.
She's great.
And given, you know, the cheaters and stuff that have been, you know, ruining the game, and then just folks being really fed up, I should say. What are your thoughts on the situation here when it comes to Apex Legends?
I will say it's kind of annoying. I haven't really ran into any issues, but I've seen tons and tons of articles about it. My thoughts really on it is, I don't know if Respawn has like a very, very top secure, you know, database to keep the game safe. Man, it's kind of disappointing because I mean, if I ever do, you know, run across that situation when I jump on Apex, I mean, I'd be pretty furious about it and probably. I mean, I know recently there was just like a glitch. I don't know if that has to do with the hack, but with people getting more than 3 players now, like it's insane. And I'm kind of just curious if Respawn even has like a secure, you know, database for Apex. It kind of, I don't want it to steer me away from the game if, you know, there's going to be hacks and glitches and everything, because that loses a lot of, you know, fans for the game.
Exactly. Yeah.
I saw that one of the posts you had where you had that glitch. You had like 4 or 6 people on your team, something like that. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so that was a bug. That wasn't, so that was a glitch. It wasn't a hack, but I still thought that was funny.
Yeah.
I'm like seeing people like Haille, I'm seeing all these people load clips. So Apex is normally a team of 3. And it's like, no, we got 5.
Oh my God. I'm like, no. Yeah. It reminds me of like Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2 days where like the game just wouldn't end. And I'm like, what's happening? So the game's not ending. He's like, oh, they're hacking Call of Duty again, and then it's just like a wave of hackers, ever since then. So, but I wonder too, like, what would this mean for Titanfall 3, right?
Yeah. See, because I'm nervous about this because I played Titanfall both 1 and 2, and I loved them, especially Titanfall 2. The campaign in I will still say this. The campaign in Titanfall 2 has no business being that good.
Yeah.
Like for a known multiplayer shooter. But so for me, they're like save Titanfall.com. Like I get it because Respawn has shown no interest, or via EA has shown no interest or mention at all of Titanfall 3. They're just going in on Apex and making money off these cosmetics.
Yeah.
Which are more and more making people unhappy. Like, I don't know if you saw, Haille, but there's like that new blue pack that's like to make all your guns blue, $40.
Yeah.
It's like, what the fuck? So a lot of people, via save Titanfall.com want to keep the servers alive. 2, get rid of the hackers and cheaters, and 3, hopefully get Respawn to make Titanfall 3. But I was thinking about it, and it's like the downside of this is like, if EA didn't want to make Titanfall 3 before, they're definitely not going to make it now out of spite. It's like, oh, you hacked us? That's the game you want to make? We're never going to fucking make it. So that's what worries me in the long run. In the long run of the hope for Titanfall 3, it did more bad than good.
Yeah.
At least upside with this hack that wasn't too intrusive. It was just a message. It was intrusive because it would prevent you from queuing up, but it wasn't like like malware or shit like that.
Yeah.
So again, I'm just worried that I did more bad than good for the future of Titanfall 3.
Yeah, that's what I'm a little bit worried about as well. But so I guess just to ask you, Haille, does this worry you as far as the future of you can because you stream as well, obviously, right? You're a big streamer as well. Does this kind of does this worry does this worry you as a streamer as far as like doing future streams for Apex Legends?
Just a little bit, yeah. Because if I'm going live and I have viewers, and the hack still happens to pop up and it's promoting like another game, that kind of sends a lot of questions and confusion, especially with live streaming, and others are like, well, I'm it's a lot of confusion. I feel like the hack maybe be like a purposeful thing.
Yeah.
I don't know if they're trying to, like, since you said it's like a message that they're sending, I feel like someone's doing this on purpose, maybe to try to lean people towards Titanfall more than Apex. So, I mean, that just kind of raises a lot of questions, honestly.
Yeah, it's definitely confusing for everyone. Needless to say. But I mean, I guess as far as just, I know you have some limited time here. Appreciate you jumping on to hang out with us here for a bit, but is there anything in general this week that is kind of piquing your interest? I know we're talking right now where the PlayStation State of Play happened on Thursday, so we're gonna cover it just as a show next week. But is there anything PlayStation related that you're pretty excited about in general?
I know I've been doing a ton of Genshin Impact. I think that's playable, for all consoles. But so far, I've just kind of been leaning with Genshin Impact. They're supposed to do like a huge update that's showing like a new part of the map. It's like I think it's called Inuzia or something like that. But I've been really hooked in Genshin Impact. I didn't think that I would get into it. I played it at first on the PlayStation, and then I leaned away from it. Now I'm back on it. But
nice.
That's kind of really the biggest thing this week that I've seen. So
very cool. Awesome. Well, lastly, is there anything coming up that your viewers and your fans should keep an eye out for the next upcoming days?
Plug time.
Yeah.
Hopefully maybe events if Apex isn't hacked anymore, if they get it under control. But really, that's kind of what I'm keeping an eye out. Nothing too big, but if some more events for gaming comes up, then hey, I'm definitely gonna post it and let everyone know.
Cool. Awesome. Well, Haille, we appreciate you here jumping on here at the limited time or whatnot. Thanks again. We'll have to have you for a full episode here again sometime soon, because obviously we're big fans, part of the Gamers for Life family, and of course give her one of these here.
Yeah.
Thanks so much. And yeah, hopefully we'd see you soon here in the future.
Hey, thank you guys.
All right.
Thanks, Haille.
All right. Bye-bye now. Yeah. So, so just in general, talking about the Apex hacks, I mean, just really weird stuff, and if anything, it just kind of creates a little more, I don't know, it's just really unfortunate, for Respawn, because they've had such a huge run. Like, they made history. They made history earlier this year at being the first video game company to win an Oscar, because they produced that short film. And then with all this happening, it just kind of, it doesn't dampen it in its entirety, but if anything, it's just it makes everything a little more upsetting, given the circumstances. So hopefully they can really take this seriously, rally behind it, and try to fix whatever the fuck is going on, man.
Well, okay, with the hack, it just again, of course, I'm not gonna say yay hack. It sucks they got hacked. But at least for when it comes to like Titanfall and stuff like that, and the profits they're making off Apex, it's like for bigger picture, it's like EA needs to be the focus rather than a Respawn. Like, I remember it made news that made us happy if EA gave the green light to make Titanfall. Okay, but it's like, as we discussed, like for example with BioWare, how BioWare is like slowly dissolving, and then like I don't know if we'll talk about it more later, but another original OG of BioWare left this week. Just one of the many things. Where I'm going with this is how EA officially announced they're no longer supporting Anthem to focus on the new Dragon Age.
Yeah.
Sorry, I knew I had a cough coming. It's like, even though on face value they said, there's a green light to go ahead and make Titanfall. Okay, well, are you going to pull bodies? But I don't see them pulling bodies away from Apex. And and especially how much money it's making through microtransactions to actually do it. So it's like, even though months ago we were like, yay, it's like almost like hope, like, oh, that means there's gonna be Titanfall, and then like the more I think about it, and it's how there's been like no news since then. It's like no. Again this week. So Apex had a huge update called Genesis, something like that, and with it, there's new cosmetic options. And like I said, like, oh, you want to make all your guns blue? $40. Like, that's the price of a fucking game.
Yeah, seriously.
And we mentioned about it before. And we mentioned about it before briefly, like a few episodes ago, how they got in trouble, hot water for the same thing last update. How the price of their cosmetics was too high.
Yeah.
And clearly they do, and even though, like, again, and I forget what their marketing said. Clearly, it's the big fuck you, we don't care, $40 for blue. So that's why I'm like, even though again Respawn's developing the game, for me, Apex is now more and more just showing the EA side of things. Which one means how bigger microtransactions, and two, not focusing on other games.
Yeah.
Like Titanfall, will Titanfall 3 exist in our lifetime? I don't know.
Interesting stuff. And then also, too, speaking of developers, just to plug this in before we go to the next topic. So one of our folks here on the Gamers for Life YouTube channel replied with the one of our videos, so one of our most played videos, the Aliens Fireteam Elite, and they commented that this company, the Cold Iron, this is technically their first game. So the reason
this is the first time that, like, their first time leading a game.
Yeah, actually making one. Because they've been tossed around, but it's actually the first one. So shout out to you, sir, for that.
Thank you.
And then also the other person that mentioned how one of them mentioned, just kind of like agreeing with us, and then the other person mentioned how it is going to be single player as well.
Good.
So that's great news there. Shout out to you once again. Always, you can comment, on all of our videos here. Definitely give us a like or dislike. It's creative, free thought.
I was like,
free thought.
I mean, preferably comment over dislike.
Yeah.
Where you just
obviously
willingly throw out that drop, like it. dislike it, fucking ban us, whatever. I'm fine there. Like, let me.
We obviously want you to like it.
Speaking more about my co-host.
Well, some people are like buying likes and all this crazy shit now. So trying to be just honest Abe here.
No, you're right, but I know, but for me, I'm like, there's a middle between buying likes and just openly like, dislike us if you fucking want. Well, my co-host means to say.
So speaking of dislike, for this next topic, kind of weird stuff, and this particular company, even just saying the company's name, people just are not fans of them, and I can't blame them. But this is a so just a preface here. This website here, Metro, they had this article which I found was pretty interesting. It says here in quote, Tencent uses facial recognition tool to stop kids playing video games at night. Continues on to say here in quote, we've all played video games at night under the covers and we weren't supposed to. Getting in a couple of hours with your Game Boy didn't run the risk of someone on the other side of the screen spying on you. But that dystopian fear is now reality. So according to a report by the Sixth Tone, Chinese publishing giant Tencent has this week launched a facial recognition system specifically designed to monitor who is playing what video game and when. The idea is that the Midnight Control software is linked to the country's central public security system, which allows it to detect any children playing games between 10 p.m. and 8 a.m. and boot them offline. Tencent software is being used to enforce measures first introduced in 2019, which require players to use their real name and limits both to how much children can play and how much they can spend on microtransactions. The latter, at least, has certainly been a concern in the West, although most governments have dragged their feet in doing anything about it in terms of legislation. The Midnight Patrol system currently works over 60 games that are popular in China, including Honor of Kings, Game for Peace, with more due added over time. Concern over the childhood addition to video games has been growing in China over the last decade, and difficulty of tracking how much kids spend on mobile games was meant the new system actually being welcomed by many. End quote. So there's a lot of weird stuff in this article, man. I think a lot of this. So I remember when we had the conversation of when it comes to Tencent. When it comes to it wasn't Tencent. It was to do a PlayStation. There was some type of law you were showing me, and then when we found out what the law was, it was connected to specifically the Republic of China. So we're like, oh, okay.
So if you're a PlayStation owner in China, you can't talk shit about China.
Yeah, exactly. Thank you. So connected to additional crazy rules, right? Mm-hmm. Them being able to monitor specifically kids. Like, it's one thing if it's like people playing games, right?
Yeah.
They're specifically targeting kids playing at night and how like they're trying to not prolong them and then cut their game off or whatnot. Really creepy stuff, man.
Yeah, you've heard me mention this company name multiple fucking times. Tencent, fuck them.
Yeah.
Like beyond fuck them. They do again. This is not surprising me at all. So Tencent is a Chinese publisher. So in China, remember in China, any company is still technically, if not owned, at least under the supervision of the government. Mm-hmm. So yeah. So just openly, we facial recognize kids and we shut their shit off. Yeah. Sounds about right. So that's what they're doing in China. That's the newest update what they're doing in China. Yeah. And so remember on the West here in like quote unquote in the Western market, whenever you hear me mention Tencent, it usually involves like censorship or catering specifically to that market. Like again, Tencent only owns 5% of Blizzard, but yet it's known they make up a huge portion of their decisions, like the reason why Diablo 2 is being censored, the reason why the Blizzard had such a hard ban hammer, people just mentioning Hong Kong. It's like, we mentioned that famous Hearthstone player that got banned. Yeah, anything Tencent does, we need to pay very close attention to. There was a rumor a while back, months back, like even during 2020, we talked about how there was a rumor that Tencent was looking to buy up some major fucking publisher, like Take-Two.
Oh wow.
EA. It was like Take-Two, EA, or like Gearbox. Like it was a rumor they were going to buy up. So anytime there's Tencent on news, anytime there's news about Tencent, people need to pay close attention to, because it's a big thing.
Yeah.
Because whatever Tencent gets their hands on, censorship, mobile gaming, microtransactions, crazy shit that fucks the industry. Again, even beyond gaming industry, it's like, they're facial scans to shut off your game. What else can I do with that? Facial scans to have a picture of my face somewhere. So
yeah,
it doesn't surprise me. And again, people need to pay close attention to this to confirm that this is only happening in China. Because even like removing the shut off the game thing, to tell parents in the U.S., that the Chinese company that made that game is spying on your kid and their camera's on even if they don't know it. That's a huge fucking thing.
Yeah, exactly. And yeah, you kind of lean into an additional point I was going to make as well, Arthur, as far as like how do we know that this is just Tencent or just in China? You know what I'm saying? Like, obviously the shutdown thing is specifically a China thing, but as far as the monitoring of mobile games, just in particular, right?
Yeah.
How do we not know that this is in other companies, across the world, especially with the US, and then it also kind of is strange when it comes to the, how big mobile games have gotten. And specifically with, you have your Call of Duty mobiles, the Battlefield mobile, which they haven't talked about yet. And they will talk about, how that'll be played into the picture. It's just a lot of really weird stuff. I mean, we already know, like, when it comes to like phones and devices, like they are recording and watching things, and and even your phone creates additional marketing things on your phone if you talk about them or whatever, and just an ad randomly. How convenient.
I think as a society we're all collectively beyond the point of tinfoil hat, that we all can fucking agree that if you talk about something, you'll see an ad on your phone,
right?
Via your social media.
Yeah.
Like to this day, there was, you, me, and a mutual friend were talking about a festival I've never heard of my entire fucking life. We were talking about it for like 15, 20 minutes, and then on the ride home, I look at my phone. Oh, look at that. That's sponsored ad. To buy tickets to the festival you've never fucking heard of your entire life. And now all of a sudden there's ads for it.
Dude.
Like, what the fuck?
Insane.
But again, it's concerning. So here's the thing: when we talk about mobile and Tencent, now on a global scale, China is a major contributor in the mobile gaming market. Like it's huge. It's like the top, like whatever, the second, third, or fourth place combined.
Yeah.
Because in China, again, these consoles via currency exchange are really expensive, but everyone has a phone, a Huawei, because that's like their centralized government. If you're in China, you have a Huawei phone.
Right. Yeah.
So that's why mobile gaming is such a huge thing, and again that's why it's also profitable, because I've mentioned it is a societal. I don't want to say cultural, because I can't speak too much into it, but monetarily flexing is a thing.
Yeah,
it is a thing, like in modern, or at least the big cities in China. Like it is a thing. It's even in gaming to be like, oh, look what I got, because I can afford this, I can afford that.
Yeah.
So that's why, one, mobile gaming, and two, microtransactions in mobile gaming in China is such a huge thing.
Yeah.
Compared to other countries like the US, or again other quote unquote Western countries like Australia, like England, stuff like that. But yeah, man, and I said, anytime Tencent shows up in the news, you got to pay attention to it.
Yeah.
Because there's always something behind, like what's behind the curtain, what's behind the veil of what the fuck they're doing. Because again, it's, Blizzard does all this shit, and it's because of this company that owns supposedly quote unquote only 5% of their company. Yet they're willing to censor an entire library of games just for them. Yeah,
exactly. Interesting stuff, man. Keep an eye out. And speaking of keeping an eye out, especially when it comes to video game movie and or TV series content that we're looking forward to, and also just to kind of put a silver lining around Sony's shit cloud. So one of their most popular first party IPs, The Last of Us. As you already know, there is the TV series that HBO is ramping up, is working on. And they confirmed here, according to GameStop, that it's going to have 10 episodes for the first season. So it says here in quote, filming on HBO's Last of Us TV series is currently underway in Canada, and now a few more details about the project has come to light with from writer Craig Mazin. I apologize if I mispronounce it. He revealed this on a Script Notes podcast, also confirming that season 1 has 5 different directors. Mazin also previously worked on the with HBO, who acclaimed Chernobyl miniseries, said in the writing for the first 3 to 4 episodes is kind of done. Last of Us received a straight to series order, and means HBO is not filming a pilot episode and is instead launching directly into the series. The same was true for Chernobyl, and Mazin acknowledged that that this presents some potential issues, one being that the production team isn't able to retool what they otherwise could have if it was a plot. The game's Game of Thrones infamously filmed a disaster of a pilot episode that featured different actresses such as Daenerys and other big changes. The Sons of Anarchy spinoff Mayans MC also reshot its pilot and made casting changes after the first pilot filmed. Mazin also said on the podcast that the Last of Us series has some quote budget challenges, but overall he believes that the finances are where it ought to be. In quote says that we have the budget to make an excellent show, and so we shall, he said. End quote. So I thought that was interesting in general, just talking about the fact that it's not on a pilot basis. But in fact is like the fact that it's
full green lit.
Yeah, full green lit, but how that can run into issues, and then also reshooting the first pilot, of the various shows of the examples that he mentioned, and saying that the budget, should be where it should be. So that's interesting. I mean, I am excited that, there's 10 episodes because I've echoed this before, as far as I feel like video games at this point, because of how popular and how creatively useful a series is, I don't think video game movies should exist anymore. They should be more thought out in a TV series format, mini-series format.
Yeah, I would say if not exist, if not exist is like far as action, but I definitely agree with you that I think miniseries or series is just easier because either a franchise of movies like Mortal Kombat's gonna be like a multiple, like it's gonna be a trilogy, I think, based on what what that Scorpion guy kind of leaked is like. Oh, my contract has like 3 more movies. But I definitely agree with you that because games are so thought out. And again, if they're if a game is a part of a franchise or a saga or a trilogy, like we mentioned with Borderlands, Borderlands has 4 games, soon to be 5 via the Tiny Tina thing.
Yeah.
So with the Borderlands movie, which movie they're drawing from, how much are they going to take, and it's complicated and it's difficult. So I do think you're right that that miniseries or series is an easier or a potentially better way.
Yeah.
To draw out these long, complicated stories. One thing I will say is there one thing they addressed that you actually called the budgeting issue of how expensive the show's going to be.
Yeah.
So I remember we were talking about that back when we had Tommy Two Thumbs on the show, and we were saying how we were discussing Mortal Kombat at the time, and how if they're to make a Mortal Kombat show versus the series, a show versus the movies,
right?
And you were saying how budgeting was going to be a big thing. You referenced Game of Thrones, how like at one point it was costing like $100 million per episode.
Yeah.
So how much is HBO and or Sony pumping money into this thing to get a quality show that the fans want?
Right.
So it's already concerning.
Shout out to me.
So,
but yeah, I
mean, it's concerning that they didn't mention it now. Of like, yeah, we're not done. We haven't really started filming, but yeah, budget's becoming a thing. So
yeah, so that's the bad side of the coin too, right?
Yeah, so it's gonna be concerning. Yeah, that's the bad side of the coin when it comes to TV, when it comes to series versus movies nowadays. Because again, quote unquote good or high end shows cost way fucking more than they used to.
Right, exactly.
Like $100 million is arguably like half, if not a third, of like what a movie costs.
And that's like a big box office film too. So that's not even talking about the films that have been classics that had a very low, low budget, 40,000, 80,000.
Yeah, like Sam Raimi's famous, Evil Dead was made on like I forget how much, but I know one story is like Saw. Like Saw was made in like 2 days. Like they filmed the original Saw like in 2 days. Yeah. And had like a couple $100,000 budget, which is nothing.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. Like Reservoir Dogs, he wrote it in 2 weeks, and I don't think it was that much to bank either.
Yeah.
So it's just interesting.
So that's how much. Again, so if it costs like $300 million for like a big, huge box office movie, the fact that Game of Thrones at its peak was $100 million per episode. Fuck.
Yeah. And what's funny too, like just to slightly talk about the Game of Thrones last season, like that one episode that was so dark, like the main
the battle.
Fight.
Oh, yep, I know exactly what you're talking about. The battle of Winterhold, which is visibly fucking dark.
Yeah, and I watched that through my little Magic Movie app, and I thought, it's because I didn't actually buy the series or have HBO Go at the time. This is why I'm getting bad quality, but then I'm seeing on Twitter, how come no one can see what's happening?
Like, that was the quality.
How come no one can see what's happening?
$100 million episode couldn't have fucking up the brightness. What's lighting?
Because I thought that I first thought that was intended as far as like, hey guys, we're running out of money here. Not everyone has their costumes. Let's just darken everything.
Fuck that last season. I said another note with this is the cast showed like they showed set photos. Not in costume, just them hanging out. So, so filming is happening. Like they say that's filming in Canada. It was Pedro Pascal. Famous from Game of Thrones.
Right.
I'm not saying I'm glad they killed off his character, but he got out while it was good. And then of course again famous again via his role in Mandalorian.
Right.
So it was Pedro Pascal. I forget who the actor playing his brother and a few other cast members that's been confirmed. Yeah. Sharing this just fun on set photos.
Absolutely. So we will see, and I'm excited. I just hope they hit all the right notes, when it comes to just like what made Last of Us great, narrative, music, violence,
hitting us in the feels. And remember, Sony got rid of their entertainment store because they have their own streaming service coming out that won't have Last of Us. Not to kick them while they're down, but that's just facts. I'm just saying, Sony's going to make its own streaming service, and the show being made off their game won't be on it.
There's not even like an exclusive thing where it's like watch it early or anything.
No,
with the it's
or
just,
like the first episode for free, nothing like that. No.
God help them.
I was gonna make a joke about Microsoft, but they don't have their own streaming thing. But Halo is gonna be on Amazon. But yeah,
the TV series they're moving it over to Amazon because that originally was on Paramount Plus.
Maybe.
Oh, okay.
Actually, it might be flip of a coin. I just remember mentally saying it's a service I don't have.
Oh, okay, yeah. I think it's Paramount.
And I don't have Amazon or Paramount. So.
Oh, okay. Okay, yeah. I mean, shit, you might not even want to watch it after all the stuff that they're going through with the Halo.
Oh yeah. Plus, the actor was like, "Yeah, I'm not fucking changing my voice." It's like, fuck you arrogant dude that's been like had one good movie and the rest of side B-roll shit. Sorry, just it's like fuck that guy.
Yeah, seriously. Seriously.
But again, it's funny that I just can't get over that. We're gonna have a streaming service. Oh, cool. So all these shows and movies based on your games will be on it. Next question.
And with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, that is going to wrap up here for the Gamers for Life podcast. Each and every Saturday discussing all things games. Thanks for watching. Be sure to, again, subscribe the podcast, on the podcast app, also on the YouTube as well. It helps us out. Again, my name is Jerrell with my co-host, Arthur Thomas.
That's me.
Congrats on getting that Series X, man.
Oh, I'm going to be playing it today, man.
All right. Well, thank you guys. We will see you next week.